It's peak fall here in upstate New York, and we're going to explore the area and put the Hasselblad X2D II 100C to the test, see how it performs for landscape photography. And we're going all the way up to that tower behind me. We've got a lot of ground to cover, so let's get started. All right, we just made it to the squeeze, and it's looking a little daunting from down here, but I hope that the views are worth it up top. Let's go check it out. Don't look down, don't look down, don't look down. Don't fall, don't fall, don't fall. This is a little bit tighter than I had expected. And I don't want to hit the Hasselblad on anything. Matt is ahead of me. Wait, take my hand. We made it. All right. Whew. Hasselblad is safe. Oh man, this is incredible. That's incredible. Look at this. Wow. So why have I chosen the X2D II for landscape photography? And here's the sort of quick abridged version of some of the reasons why. Starting with number one, the sensor. It's a 43 by 32 millimeter medium format sensor that delivers some of the most detailed and crisp images that I have literally ever seen out of a camera. And pair that with Hasselblad's natural color solution, pair that with colors like these, making for the perfect combo. And speaking of colors, this has 16-bit color depth. So what exactly does that mean? That means it captures a ton of color information. The files are kind of large, but still worth it in my opinion because of the flexibility and versatility of that file type. You've got a ton of information to work with in post-processing, and that subtle color separation in a scene like this, having that information really sets this camera apart. And I mentioned latitude for a second there, and dynamic range is a huge aspect in landscape photography. Why? Because you've often got highly dynamic scenes. Now, this one's a little bit flatter, admittedly, because the sun seems to be hiding from us today, but that's all right, because even on sunny days or highly contrast days, the HDR mode on the X2D II balances the shadows and the highlights and retains those highlight detail and anything from getting crushed in the shadows as well, and kind of makes a more balanced image and gives you that flexibility to work with in post-processing as well. So what about using medium format for landscape photography? Well, I actually think the format lends itself perfectly to landscapes because you can capture, for the most part, a wider field of view. Right now, I've been using the 35 to 100 for most of today, and it gives you such a wide field of view for scenes like this. You can really capture the entire vast landscape. And I think that makes it so much more fun to use. In addition to that, medium format, it's a Hasselblad. It makes you kind of want to just stop, sit in awe of a landscape and really take the time, be more deliberate about your photos, which is a good thing because it's not quite film where you have a very limited number of photos that you could take in a day. And in fact, this actually has a built-in terabyte of storage. So you can take a ton of photos on this camera, but you're gonna wanna keep in mind how you're storing those after the fact. I know this is a landscape video, but I can't ignore some of the wildlife and birds that are out here because there's kind of a lot. And right now there's this beautiful bird making some noise, causing a little bit of a ruckus right in front of us. And I've got the 35 to 100 mil on right now, so it's a little bit too far to catch with the 100, which would be like around a 70-ish full frame equivalent. But when I look at the photos in here and crop in, this camera feels illegal with this level of detail. All of these photos are just incredibly sharp. For lenses, today I have along with me the XCD 20 to 35 mil and also this newer 35 to 100 mil. And I have been kind of opting for this a little bit more, as much as I tend to appreciate those wide landscapes. Also getting the compression of 100 mil has been so much fun, kind of compressing tree shots and road shots. It ends up being my favorite in most cases. Another thing to note about medium format sensors is It tends to actually be a shallower depth of field because it is a wider format, and even when using a higher aperture, sometimes you might have to focus stack in order to get your entire scene in focus if you're trying to capture a foreground and you need that to be sharp. In most cases, I actually appreciate having a foreground that's a little bit out of focus, so that way it's not distracting for the scene. One major thing that stands out about the newer X2D II is the addition of LiDAR autofocus in addition to the phase detection autofocus that already exists. So those two together, when photographing landscapes, means that you're gonna be able to trust and rely on the camera to nail focus every time. One of my favorite features for landscapes, and particularly with this camera, has to be the crop modes, because it allows you to really frame in camera but still have the flexibility to reframe in post because it gives you the full sensor readout. So yes, you're still getting a full-size file, but being able to frame in the field makes all the difference. And one of my favorite crop modes has to be the X-Pan one, because one, it just looks so cinematic, and two, for photography, it feels like you're taking a panorama, and with a 100 megapixel sensor, whereas other cameras you'd have to take multiple photos, this one photo and you've got an incredibly high detail result. It's no secret that the image stabilization on the X2D II is world-class, with 5 axis and 10 stops of image stabilization, meaning that for the most part, you can rock this camera handheld and have it not be a problem. So leaving the tripod home means less weight that I have to carry around. But where does it really shine? In those long exposures. If maybe you have a low light scene and you need to lower your shutter speed, you can still do so handheld without any problems. But especially if you're photographing water or photographing a waterfall, it's really easy to get a nice long exposure handheld with the X2D II because of that internal image stabilization. Medium format landscape photography. Admittedly, a somewhat slower experience. I would liken it to sauntering rather than hiking, more of a marathon rather than a sprint. But is it so much more worth it? Absolutely, because the results that you get are just unlike anything I've ever seen. All that to say, running around upstate New York with the X2D II 100C has been such a fun time. Let us know in the comments down below, is the X2D II a perfect landscape photography powerhouse? And where would you take this camera to photograph landscapes? We would love to hear from you. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.